I feel like are great about Step Up are like the trips and what we do on those trips and the people we meet. I got a wake up call. It was like I was talking to this woman, and before that, I was a really shy person. I used to like stand back in a crowd. I used to just like I wouldn't want to speak up because I didn't want the attention on me. And she noticed that, and she told me, you can't stand back in a crowd. You can't, like, you have to speak up and take charge and like take these opportunities, because if you don't take charge of these opportunities, you're going to lose them. That whole ride home, I was like just thinking about what she said, and I probably lost so many opportunities, and I was like, I'm not going to lose any more opportunities. And that was something that really impacted me, and it made me a better person today.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at Step Up Together. Today, we're talking about using your work to inspire change with Debbie Allen and Delores Morton. My name is Audre Wheeler, and I'm an alumna of Step Up, the nonprofit organization behind today's event. Step Up is all about helping teen girls inspire change for themselves and for their community. And that's part of the reason why the topic is so important to me. Before we get into the conversation, we have a very special award to present. Each summer, Step Up presents its Inspiration Award to a woman who inspires other women to fulfill their potential. While we cannot gather in person this year to honor this 2020 recipient, we did still want to honor her and present her with our award virtually. To help me present the 2020 Inspiration Award, I'd love to have the CEO of Step Up, Delores Morton, help us learn a little bit more about our honoree. Ms. Morton?
Thank you, Audre. My favorite story about today's honoree is the time that President Barack Obama ended a speech with the words, "God bless you, God bless America, and God bless Debbie Allen." Few people ever reach that level of acknowledgement, right? While currently known for her work in front of and behind the camera for Grey's Anatomy, our honoree has many credits and roles to her name, including actress, dancer, choreographer, director, producer, author, and former member of the President's Committee on Arts and Humanities. I like to emphasize author because I'm an avid reader, and because as a mom, I was really intentional about looking for books for my children with Black characters. One of the books I selected for my then 6-year-old daughter, Valerie, was Dancing in the Wings by Debbie Allen. It is based in part on her own experience as a young dancer. So from a young dancer, she'd go on to become the great star we all know today. Honored with her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame after becoming a 3-time Emmy Award winner and a 10-time Image Award winner. Always a dancer at heart, she currently runs the Debbie Allen Dance Academy in Los Angeles and has served as a longtime artist in residence at the Kennedy Center. A proud graduate of Howard University, she went on to create an impact far beyond the dance community. Her colleague Shonda Rhimes once said, "Debbie Allen put people of color on television and displayed them in ways that they hadn't been seen before. She told stories that hadn't been told before. She gave people opportunities who hadn't been given opportunities before." It is this type of opportunity that Step Up aims to offer teen girls. The opportunity to see women of all backgrounds, interests, and skills thriving in whatever industry they choose. This is why it's so fitting that Step Up has selected her for our 2020 Inspiration Award. Like many of the Step Up girls we are meeting and hearing from today, she is courageous, talented, creative, a true leader. Please join me in congratulating the 2020 Inspiration Award honoree, Debbie Allen. I wish I had you were next to me and I were handing you the award, Miss Allen, but thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh my goodness, this is truly, truly a humbling and an inspirational moment for me to receive such an acknowledgement and recognition, and that I would be chosen for the Inspiration Award. That means a lot because inspiration is a big part of my vocabulary when I'm working with young people or people, period, to inspiration allows you to go beyond what might be your limitation at the moment or your circumstance, but it inspires you to go beyond. So I have always been one who's striving to go beyond and taking people with me. So this is truly a blessing, and I accept it with the wind at my back and my hands on the plow to keep working. That's what I'll do.
That sounds so good. Okay, so I have a list of questions that I'd love to ask you, and I wrote these myself, so I'm very invested in these answers. Let's start by thinking back to the start of your career. After attending Howard University, what would you tell yourself then that you know now?
I would just say the sum of your life experience is going to fuel you to go further and further than what you might even know. And that keep doing what you're doing, because as a young girl, young woman, I grew up being a bit fearless. Fear was not quite part of our vocabulary in my house, with my mother, Vivian Ayers, my sister, Felicia, my brother, Tex, my brother, Huey. So I would say, stay on that path, girl. You're going to make it.
Okay. You have seemingly done it all. You're a legendary choreographer, dancer, producer, director, actor. I mean, I love The Different World. I've been binging it for the last couple of weeks. Like, it's so good. How did it feel to first make that transition from in front of the camera as a performer to behind it? And what made you want to take that leap?
Well, as a young girl, again, when I was in high school, I was voted most versatile in my class because I was a drum majorette. I was in the honor society. My boyfriend was captain of the football team, and I was dancing. And at the same time, we were always very involved in standing up for more rights and opportunity for Black people. So taking steps are a natural thing. I think being a dancer has really fueled my career and informed everything that I do, because in the dance world, you rehearse, you practice, you go to class, you're constantly being criticized, you're constantly being told you can do it better, 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 again, again, again. So you grow up with a big kind of a tough skin. So making a transition was not so much a transition as it was taking hold of an opportunity. An opportunity. When I was in the theater, there were often times where I was the choreographer or leadership. When I did West Side Story, Jerome Robbins, the incomparable director of choreography, left me in charge of my number, America. Debbie, you rehearse it when you think they need to rehearse. Wow, that was a big, that was a big responsibility. So on Fame, I had all these young little underlings in my grasp to nurture and get them going to fly. And so I was acting, but my biggest interest when I started on Fame was the choreography, which led to directing. So by the time I had choreographed for 2 years and sent some directors home to let me help them do their job, the crew was actually asking, can we have Debbie for a director? And then Bill Blinn, my executive producer, said, get in there. And when I did my first episode, we wrapped so early on a couple of days. I always was prepared. And then it was do as many as you want. So it wasn't so much a transition as it was being ready for that next step, being ready for that opportunity. Because I still was on camera. I still was choreographing and I was directing. So again, from high school, I was wearing those multiple hats, which I kind of engineered as a young girl.
Okay. I want to ask both of you this question. How do you prepare yourself for new work, new roles, and new challenges?
I'll go first, maybe. Because I know that whatever Miss Allen says, it's gonna, blow me out of the water. So, but I think about new work, new roles, and new challenges. I approach them with an open heart and an open mind, because I always want to learn something in those roles and those new challenges. And so And I want to bring my whole self to every one of those opportunities. I don't think of them just as challenges, but as opportunities. And with with a bit of, I don't want to seem overly, but with confidence, right? With confidence that I can achieve whatever is set in front of me. I think that sometimes we will play small, and we will play with false humility and not believe that we can accomplish something. But really, you have to take on that new challenge with a healthy dose of, caution, but also with confidence that that whatever is put in front of you, you'll be able to succeed.
Definitely.
Well, I think Delores said it better than I could ever say it, which is, it's an opportunity, taking your whole self, going in with confidence. Those are the key ways of being successful and taking on something new and going to the next level, or being successful at what is being offered you to do, or the opportunity. So being ready to learn something new, because you don't always know. I mean, the whole world became virtual overnight with COVID. Overnight. And so many performing arts organizations shut down, theaters closed, there was no concert world, no going to the movies, all of these things. So how do you kickball change and adjust in this environment? It's learning something new. I wasn't into Zoom, child. Zoom out.
Serious.
But it was amazing to take the Debbie Allen Dance Academy and now have classes where we're touching our students, and now students, I taught a class over the weekend from Argentina, from Brazil, from Germany, it's just a new world. So we're always learning something new, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful that I'm standing and have the wonderful people around me to help me find my way.
Our world became bigger and smaller and bigger all at the same time. And you really were winning the pandemic. I feel like between you and D Nice, you guys were winning it. Our staff was stopping to do the dance class with you in the middle of the day. And it was just such a respite for us and a way for us to connect when we weren't connecting in person. So you're so right about flexing new muscles, learning new things in the moment. So taking the challenge and turning it into an opportunity.
Exactly. Yes, D Nice. Don't we love him? I love him. And his children, his beautiful daughters. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the dance studio classes. Me and my mom, she made me take one. So about the dance studio, what made you want to open it?
Well, you know what? It was almost like a matter of responsibility. I had been choreographing the Oscars, 7 times, 8 times by then, I don't know. And every time I would choreograph, I'd have to stop and teach. Young people didn't know who Catherine Dunham was. They hardly knew the vocabulary of Bob Fosse. And so I found myself teaching and guiding these incredibly gifted dancers. And I realized that they needed some of what I had. It took me a while to gather all the training that finally has shaped me. As a young child, everything was segregated. I couldn't go to class. Then we were in Mexico, and I went to class in Mexico. Then I came back and was in the Ballet Foundation. And then I met Alvin Ailey, and I met George Faison, and met Twyla Thorpe, and all of these people. So it was like a matter of responsibility for me to give back. I'm from a family of a lot of people. My dad had 9 brothers and sisters, and we were a big family in Houston, so we're used to sharing and giving. And so I've grown up with that as part of my nature. And I've always been sometimes critical. You could open that school to make money. And I said, no, I'm opening this school to make a difference. So I did it to make a difference. And my daughter Vivian has always been my muse. And I had to send her across the country to go to a school that I thought could take her to the level she deserved to go to. So why shouldn't we have it here in Los Angeles, the kind of entertainment capital of the world? But we didn't have a dance academy that was really comprehensive in its training the way I wanted to do it. So I had to do it.
Okay. And speaking on the topic of responsibility, you are the first Black woman to have won a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a television series. And while that is no doubt an honor, it's also a burden. While you were the first, how do you ensure that you're not the last?
Well, you know what? It wasn't a burden for me because I wasn't paying it any mind. I didn't realize until Tracy Ellis Ross won that it had been like 30 some years. I really, when you are in the world that I'm in, where you're working all the time and you're trying to navigate a lot of things, you don't get to rest on your laurels. So I wasn't thinking about, oh, I'm a Golden Globe winner. The award actually is up in my house and needs to be fixed because it's falling. It's so old, it's crumbling. But I didn't realize until Tracy won it that it had been that long. And I'm like, what? Nobody's won it since then? I mean, it made me think about Hattie McDaniel. She won it, and then what? Whoopi won it 50 years later. So what is the question? How do I feel about that?
Yeah, how do you ensure that you're not the last?
I can't ensure anything. You can't ensure anything other than you woke up this morning, you're breathing. You don't know what's coming tomorrow. Everybody has to live in the moment and do everything you can. It's not my job to ensure somebody winning an award. I have to tell you that is not the crown jewel. What is the crown jewel is the work, the doing, and that you're bringing other people with you and that you're providing opportunities. So it's not my responsibility and not really my concern about an award.
Okay. This is for both of you guys. What has been your greatest challenge?
You know, you just talked about Miss Allen being the first Black woman to have won a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress. I think for me, my biggest challenge is often being the first Black anything or the only Black woman in the room is frequently a challenge for me. But it is also, I'd never use the word challenge by itself because challenge is the other side of the coin of opportunity. So I always take those challenge moments as opportunities to teach someone something different, to pave a way to create an opportunity for someone else. So I think that's for me the greatest challenge. But outside of that world, I think one of the biggest challenges that I've had is being a mom. Being a mother and being a young mother and figuring out how to parent, how to be what my children needed at any given moment, and knowing that over their life cycle, my youngest is 18, and I've got 25, 26-year-old daughters, and what they need from me today is different than my 6-year-old need when they were 6 and 7 years old. So that continues to be my life's greatest challenge, and really my life's work is around being a good mom, being a good parent.
That's so true. I applaud you for that, because motherhood is a career in itself, period. And it is, there's a lot that is kind of given to women without speaking. Women historically have been the ones who are focused on education, and we're the ones that put the food on the table. We guide our activities. We try to keep our children's minds open and powerful and feeling confident. So women, even at a very young age, need to somehow understand that responsibility. Mm-hmm. So I think one of my greatest challenges right now is finding more support to give more arts development and opportunity to millions of young people across this country. I know what it's done for me. I know what it did for me in the middle of the segregation of the South and the civil rights movement when I was 8 and 9 years old and couldn't go to ballet class until I was 14. I finally became the first Black kid in the Houston Ballet Foundation. Well, we're kind of rolling back. We've been rolling back down the hill. You know, we've gone up that hill and it's gone good, and now we're kind of rolling back down the hill because we're up against odds that we're facing that we have to really look square in the eye. Like COVID. You got to look at COVID as a good deterrent of how you have to function. You have to coexist with COVID. It's not going away. How do you live with it? How do you navigate around it? How do you stop it from coming into your home? Mm-hmm. These are things that we have to teach our young people right now. You know, so it's like, you know, there's the Ebola virus, there was AIDS, now it's COVID. There's a cynicism and a rudimentary systematic racism that exists in this world. And it's not just against Black people, it's against poor people, it's against people who are different. You know, there's a group of people over here that think they're the ones that are special and nobody else. And this gets into, you know, dynamics between religions. Some of the biggest wars ever fought in our history have been religious wars over which religion was the right one. Mm-hmm. Well, this is the thing. If you are really a child of God, God is speaking however God speaks. Yes. God in ancient times was considered a woman, not a he, but a she. If you go back into ancient times, God was revered as a woman. And that's a whole nother conversation. So women play a very strong role in how we are going to move forward and progress through the challenges. Because we're all faced with challenges right now. 2020 has been just a year of challenges, from, you know, the loss of Kobe Bryant all the way through George Floyd. Now we have fires and earthquakes and hurricanes and more, you know, loss of innocent life unnecessarily. So young children are facing a lot of things now. I thought I faced a lot when I was a kid, but it's even more now. You know, we were worried about getting polio. That was the big thing that we were, when I was a kid, getting that vaccine, being inoculated. But right now, we can't inoculate our children against hate and ugliness. We have to grow them to be in the light and be what they want the world to be. We have to let young people know they have to be how they want the rest of the world to be. You be that person. You be that person.
Mm-hmm. That is such a great message. Like, I wish I had more Black women.
All the steps.
Yeah, that's like so amazing. And I have one more question that I just, you know, from this conversation. Who was a woman in your life that inspired you the most?
Well, for me, I have to say it's my mother, Vivian Ayers. She's renamed herself the Space Age Poet. She still says she's the first woman to go into space because transcendentally and through her writing, she was taking journeys and trips outside of this universe and writing them in her works. But she's always pushed us and helped us make the right choice. She's led us to the well from which we should drink. Mm-hmm. She has made us understand that our creativity and our quiet moments of reflection, so we can hear ourselves think, was important as children. She empowered us as children. So Mommy, Vivian Ayers, there's no surprise that there is success from me and my sister Felicia Shaw, the first Black woman to win a Tony Award. We didn't even know that until it happened. My brother Tex Allen is a musician. My brother Huey is a banker. We were raised by my mom to go out here and do something in this world. And she kind of tricked us because we grew up with not a lot of money, but what we had was creativity and a sense of the universe. So my mother is you know, no, not even a question, the most inspirational person in our lives.
What about you, Audre? Who's a woman that's inspiring to you?
I mean, I have to say my mom. Like who else is gonna be? My mom is one of my greatest supporters. Everything I've tried to do in my life, every school I've applied to, every program I've applied to, she's helped me and tried to help me better myself. She's pushed me into things that even though I didn't want to do it, and I've come out the other side so much greater because of it. I think moms have like that sixth sense. Like they're like, okay, I know what to do. Okay, just listen and follow my lead. But yeah, I mean, I love my mom. She's the best. She helped me get ready for this today. I was so nervous. She wrote me a little note, and yeah, I mean, she's my rock. I love her so much. Okay, sorry, let's get into that. So last question. 50 years from now, when people talk about you, what would you like them to say?
I don't know. Let's see. Hopefully by then I will have had a lot of grandchildren and have a bigger family that will remember who I am. Technology changes every day. And when I think of some of the people that were so important to me 50 years ago that nobody really even knows about anymore or talks about, I don't look to be a memory. I hope that I will be an influence for what is possible and what is yet to come.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think you are doing that even while you are living. So we're not going to wait for you to not be here with us to have accomplished that, Miss Allen. I think for me, I want people to remember, if they remember me at all, but remember that I led with love, and that I left things a little bit better than I found them. That I didn't make it worse. I always want to make things better.
I think for me, I want people, if they still remember me, I want them to remember me as like a kind individual who cared about others and who tried to help other people, and someone who was a force to be reckoned with in the things that she set her mind to. Because I got dreams and I want them to come true. Thank you guys so much for talking to me today. I've loved hearing both of you speak. I'm so honored to be in your presence, Ms. Allen, Ms. Morton. Like, this is such a huge honor for me. Like, I really, really appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me today. Okay. Thank you both for being with Step Up today. We are so inspired by the change your talent has created, and we thank you for sharing with us. For our guests, today's summit has been offered in support of Step Up, the nonprofit hosting today's summit. Step Up hopes to raise over $500,000 today to fund mentorship programs that support young girls and young women in becoming confident, college-bound, career-focused, and ready to join the next generation of women leaders. Please consider helping us reach this goal by visiting the donate icon on the Step Up Together website or app. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for joining us.
Okay. Let me give myself